Don't quit entrepreneurship. And let me warn everyone, because there is a saint, I know he's listening. He created a product that was very successful and then switched products. It was crazy as heck.
Oh, no, 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 no. That's crazy. Wow. That, oh, bruh.
Flashback. Look, for those of you who would like to get started making some money, one of the simplest ways to get started in entrepreneurship is not to come up with an idea or even to observe a gap or a problem in the marketplace and try to create a product to solve it. What you can actually do is find something that is working in the marketplace, an existing service or an existing product. And maybe say you take a service, for example, and you just make it faster. For example, as you guys know, I've been involved in real estate a lot in the last year and a half. And, there's something called closing, which is basically once you've decided to do the deal and you get your title company and your bank connected and the seller's agent and the buyer's agent, you go to the closing, which can take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And this is a bit of a long process, probably needn't be that long. So what if you were the real estate agent that said, hey, if you want to buy a house, you don't have to wait on the typical closing, which is 60 days. All of my closings are 20 days. I promise you, you'll be in a niche. Certain people, certain individuals will seek you out. Either it's going to be individuals who are very wealthy and they're like, hey, I can make quick decisions. I got capital. I'm ready to go. Or it's going to be individuals who are in a high need of liquidity. Maybe it's a real estate investor or someone who has a home that they need to sell. They got it because their grandpa or mom passed away and they need to get the cash out of the house now. And so they need that house sold quickly and they need the closing to be short in window so that they can get their money quicker. So it's not about offering a new service. It's about increasing the speed of an existing service, because speed is a value, especially for those who are wealthy. Wealthy people are often going to spend more money for speed and convenience, right? We'd rather pay $100 to valet our car as opposed to $15 to self-park it, because it's safer and most importantly, it's faster. So that's a simple way to think about how can I come and innovate on a service or product without having to be the most clever person on earth. So what you should be thinking is anytime I observe something going on, if I can merely make it faster, I can make a buck. I can charge a premium. As they say, time is money. There is some truth there. Shout out to Carter. He writes, peace of the saints. You have inspired me to lead my family through the Bible. I'm hosting weekly family reflections, and today was the first one. I've already read the Bible start to finish, and I'm not even Christian, but I find it rewarding to lead my family through the sacred text. There you go. All right. He comes right back and writes, thank you, sir. You are welcome and thank you. And shout out to Juan. He writes, Mr. Burton, I have an idea for a product. The product will be made out of plastic. How could I go about creating the item? What service may I need in order to physically create the item? Peace of the saints. I don't know the nature of your item, but if you, for example, I don't know if you've already got it. I assume that you haven't. But there's a mini course. I say mini course, but I don't think it's actually short. But there's a low cost course. I think it's $179, and it talks about how to create a product-based business with $500 or less. And if you go through that, it'll tell you precisely how you get a prototype created. What you're talking about is you need a prototype. And if it's plastic, presumably you're going to get charged what's called a mold fee, which means that the manufacturer is going to have to create a metal mold, presumably metal mold, to pour hot plastic into to shape whatever object you're trying to create. The good news about the mold fee is you're only charged one time, and then you can produce an infinite number of those objects. But before I do all that, if I were you, depending on the cost, I'd either, so if it's like a low cost plastic thing, like for example, here's a product that Marcos, who's a confirmed saint, here's a product he created. It's quite unique. Number one, I don't have any cases for my pen, so I really like this. I feel like it's super player because it has a case. And it's also a bamboo pen, which, most pens are in fact plastic or metal in some cases, and this one is bamboo. So that's pretty neat. But let's just say this case was plastic, right? And you needed to create a unique case from scratch. The manufacturer is going to charge you a mold fee. they're only going to charge you one time. Now, say you wanted a mold fee for this right here. It's going to be fairly low cost because it's quite simple, has metal hinges, but these two sides are pretty much the same. And then they're going to engrave there, which shouldn't really cost you much at all. So that's simple. If that's the case, then, carry on. Take the course for $179, figure out how to get in contact with the right folks who can do it, which that course will teach you. If what you're doing is more complex than that, let's say you wanted to make a mobile lamp and you need them to mold this shape, and this one has a posable head, adjustable, this is probably for sure going to cost you more money. It'll be probably expensive. So I'd probably take a consultation just so that we can vet, is this product actually a unique value add in the marketplace? What is the competition on the market? Do you have to actually create something unique? What should your pricing strategy be? We can go through all of those things. So if it's simple and low cost, get the $179 course, go through it. It'll tell you everything you need to know in terms of getting your prototype made, and go forward and make your prototype. If it's a little bit more complex because it's going to be an expensive prototype you're creating, then I'd say you probably want to talk to someone who knows. You can talk to me. You can talk to someone else, but talk to someone who knows, because there's nothing worse than failing to spend, say, $1,000 and then going in without knowledge, and then you end up losing 20, 30, 40,000. And I've seen it happen. I've seen people lose millions of dollars due to lack of knowledge. Wishing you much success. That's a beautiful thing to start a new product. It's very exciting, especially if it's your first product. And I want to encourage you to, stay persistent. But if it's not profitable, get out of there, but try it again with a different product. Don't quit entrepreneurship. You can quit a given product, but don't quit entrepreneurship. And let me warn everyone, because there is a saint, I know he's listening. He created a product that was very successful and then switched products. It was crazy as heck. So don't ever kill a winning horse. If that horse is making you money, stick with that horse. Let that horse continue earning. They say don't fall in love with your product. Well, if your product's making you money, definitely fall in love with it. Now, if your product is not making you money, then you don't fall in love with it. Okay? That's how that goes. At the end of the day, it would be phenomenal if you can sell to both. But you'd probably want to start by selling to those who are wealthy, and then you would evolve your company so that it has capacity to also sell to those who are poor. Because if you're selling to poor people or low income people, you require a huge demand because you have to sell a lot of products. And then secondly, you have to mass produce, which is going to require significant infrastructure to meet that demand. Which is to say, like a whole factory to manufacture. Whereas if you're selling in a boutique fashion to high income people, you can just have you, your mom, and your girlfriend working on the products, hand assembling them. So that's how you should be thinking about it, which is not only the outcome of selling and making money, but also the process, which is to say the productive aspect of it and how taxing that may be to you and the resources at your disposal to get it done. Now, here's another way to make money. I'm going to go ahead and, say it ain't so. They're not hitting the like button. Who else comes on and gives actual quality business advice and has had experience in business as opposed to just guessing or saying, I read 30 books on it. I didn't read any books, but I have lectured to MBA students and students around the world in universities because I've actually done it. I didn't learn it from a book. I learned it from doing it. And that's evergreen content. I do these reaction videos because this is what the audience demands, right? Like the masses in Rome, they demand the Colosseum and the gladiators and, let's see what happens if a bear and a tiger fight each other. This is what dimwits want to see. So here we are. But I always make sure that even in these things, I implant as much meaningful information and perspective as I can while entertaining you guys, despite the reality is I'm actually a monotone, pedantic personality. But, I figured out human nature, so I'm able to survive here. And I think you guys will be shocked at the people who really mess with my work. Number of celebrities that I know you guys know. I'm not going to mention their names because I don't know if they want to be mentioned, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And I've heard many stories like this. Some of the saints in Canada were on a train and one of them had the backpack briefcase, which you can get at mdblabel.com. Grow up, you dig? I got mine right here. And this was the sample. This one's like 5 years old and is still looking pristine. But one of the saints had the backpack briefcase, and another saint pulled up on him in the train, like, bro, you listen to the saint in the center. He was like, yeah, indeed, I do. Indeed, I do. So, I just love to see that. Let us end this the way we always end this, with the creed of the assassin. Repeat after me with full conviction,
Knowing this is true of you.
the creed of the assassin.
I am going to be who I truly am.
Because I am remarkable, and I'm going to strive every moment to show the greatest part,
To show the greatest part
To show the greatest part of who I am.
Until next time.